Ro. I'm a narcissistic abuse survivor, and I'm a coach, and I'm here to help you. So I will answer any questions that you guys might have. Do I still struggle today? Yes, absolutely. I struggle a lot. There's a lot of times where I get triggered by the narcissist in my life because we do share 3 kids together. And sometimes I just feel like his energy is on me. And I've actually had a talk with a client today about that. And I don't know if you believe in this type of energy work, but sometimes it's nice to just cut that energy off. Like if you feel triggered or if you struggle and you think that their energy is kind of gravitating or grabbing you, they've got their claws in you or their fangs in you. Like one thing you can do is just kind of like mentally cut them off and just kind of do one of these like where you just kind of like cut them off. Does he see my posts? I don't know. I have a public page. I'm on YouTube, TikTok. I am on, obviously, here on Instagram and Facebook. So there's a good chance that he sees my work. I don't really talk too much about him in general. So what I do is, I just sort of stop caring. If he sees it, he sees it. There's not much that I can do about it. Cut off meditation. Yes. So if you do this, if you do mindful practice, you can actually cut off the person who's creating that energy. That's something that you can do. How do I stop feeling guilty about leaving him? So the guilt has been manufactured by them, by the narcissist. A lot of the times the reason you feel guilty is because they've embedded that into you and they've sort of, like Inception, they've almost planted a thought in your mind ever since you first started dating. When you first started dating that narcissist, you might have been told that everybody leaves them, right? Or that they have abandonment issues. Everybody leaves me. And if you leave, you're going to leave me too. You're going to leave me too, right? And so you have to remember that a lot of that guilt has been manufactured by the narcissist because they want you to feel as if you do leave them, you've done something wrong, even though you've taken your power back. Whoever asked that, I needed it. So how to deal with that guilt? Remember your truth. Remember why you're leaving the narcissist. Always put you first. You cannot love a toxic person and then love yourself at the same time. It doesn't work that way. So you have to remember to put yourself first. What are those things you feel guilty about, right? Check those thoughts. Is it a thought that you feel guilty about because, you're going to hurt somebody else in your family? Is the thought that you're going to be a bad mom or a bad dad? Is that the thought that you are going to be an embarrassment? So what is it that you feel guilty for? And then I want you to take that thought and I want you to catch it. I want you to check it for evidence. What if you were to bring that thought to a judge? What would the judge say? Hey, I'm a bad mom. Right? What would the judge say? What evidence do you have to prove that you're a bad mom? If you can't prove that thought, then I want you to change that thought. And then I want you to change and redirect and reshift your guilt. Will they do vengeance like they always treated me? What is that question? I'm not sure. Suicide baiting is a manipulation tactic. Yeah, a lot of narcissists will use suicidal ideations to try to make you feel bad and make you feel guilty. Here's the thing about people who do that. Mental health crisis is a crisis, right? It's a form of manipulation. If a narcissist does that and uses that to make you feel guilty. So if they say things like, I'm going to off myself if you leave me, right? That's a guilt trip. Don't buy into it. Absolutely. People who do suffer mental health crises and do want to end their experience, right, do have ideations, suicidal ideations, they talk about that after the fact, after they've overcome it. So they've overcome this mental health crises, right? They've overcome it and they're talking to you about it after. Because how many times have you ever heard anyone who has suffered this say I wish you would have talked to me. I wish you would have told me. I wish you would have let me know, right? Nobody talks about that before. If they're using that as a manipulation tactic, they'll talk to you about it before to make you feel guilty, okay? And they're doing that to manipulate you. It's a form of manipulation to make you feel guilty. They're weaponizing mental health. Someone who's actually in crisis isn't going to be talking about it until they've climbed out of that dark place. If a narcissist was really in a dark place and they were really wanting to end their experience, they would reach out to you after. They usually wouldn't talk to you about it. But it's because narcissists use it as a manipulation tactic. So if you're in this situation and somebody says this to you, what I want you to do is tell them that you will call the police. I want you to say, I'm not equipped to handle this. You are in a lot of trouble right now, and I don't want you to do anything harmful. So I'm going to get the police on the line or an ambulance to come in and have you on watch. And watch how fast that changes for them, how fast that changes. Mine left me and tried to move on, seen him in care with another girl, and now wants to come back. So I didn't move on. I'm not sure about that question here, sweetheart. Yeah, pop your questions in the chat if you want me to answer any questions. I can't stop ruminating. Help, it's horrible. So you have fear of missing out. Missing out of what? What do you think you're going to miss out on? Let me answer that. Hello, Stop When Dead. How's it going? If they're going to do it, you can't stop it. Trust me. They're not sleeping. Trust me, after not sleeping and texting every hour to check on her. Yep. How's it going, friend? Can I put you as a moderator if you're going to be here for a little bit? I'm going to be here for an hour. If you are new to my page, if you're new to this live, if you're new here, my name is Ro. I'm a narcissistic abuse survivor, and I'm a life coach, and I help you heal from narcissistic abuse. I give you clarity and some tools to move forward. Can a narcissist be controlled by another narcissist? Yes, absolutely. People can control other people. You know, narcissists, just because two narcissists get together doesn't mean that they are, you know, one is abusive and one is not. One person can control another. They could also take turns. Megan, how's it going? Hey, you took yourself for some Friday night after you left work. You bought yourself some flowers. A new tumbler and got some sushi. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Megan. Good for you. Did you celebrate that self-care act? Did you celebrate those? I hope you did. Guys, something that I always talk about here in my channel is, yes, I want you to know that you can heal from narcissistic abuse. And I believe that there are 3 pillars of healing from narcissistic abuse. There are 3 pillars of doing this. 1, okay, and that is what we're doing right now. This is learning about narcissism, learning about the abuse, this type of abuse, this style of abuse, learning about it and understanding what you went through. Getting on Google, getting on TikTok, getting on Instagram, getting on YouTube, learning about what this style of abuse can do to you. Being in knowledge and education is going to help you heal from narcissistic abuse. Number 2, having a sense of community. So being around these types of people, other survivors, narcissistic survivors, as well as other like-minded people who understand this disorder, can help you heal from this. So being in a community. I run a support group, which is a monthly coaching session or a monthly coaching group. Every month, the next one is September 25th. It's almost sold out. I think there's only 3 spots left. If you want to join that group, you go to the link in my bio under support or group coaching, and I want you to join that group. Now, I also have a Facebook group, so you can go on Facebook under my link in my bio and join that group. But being in this community is going to give you this sense of not feeling isolated anymore, not feeling alone, like you have no one that understands you. Okay, and number 3, and this ties me back to what Megan said about taking herself out for sushi. Number 3 is self-love. Self-love, okay? I'll be there. I can't wait to see you there. Self-love and self-care. The act of self-love is self-care. Doing self-care acts, going out, taking yourself out on a date, listening to music, making music for some people, being in this space where you're putting yourself first and you're doing things for you that make you feel self-expressed, that make you feel not alone, and that make you feel like you know what you're not so confused anymore. I want you to have that education. I want you to have that knowledge and awareness. I want you to be in the space of community, in the space of other like-minded people who are going through what you went through. And I also want you to really practice self-love, because we've been loving a narcissist all these years. We've been loving a toxic person, and you cannot love a toxic person and love yourself at the same time. It does not exist. You have to choose you. Now, somebody here is asking about breadcrumbing and some examples, right? Breadcrumbing is basically, okay, the narcissist in the very beginning of the relationship will give you the loaf of bread. Okay, they're going to love bomb you with the loaf of bread. They're going to be like, I love you. We are in love, right? We are meant to be together. We're soulmates. We're twin flames. And you're going to feel all of this love. You're going to get this loaf of bread. You're going to get baby I love yous. You're going to get all of these things that are going to feel really good and fill your cup. They're going to fill you and fill the need, and they're going to make you feel really good. And then over time, when they're kind of done breadcrumb or done with the love bombing, they'll start to abuse you. They'll devalue you. They'll belittle you. You know, they'll tell you that you're worthless. They'll make you feel worthless. They'll blame you for shit. They'll accuse you for shit that you didn't do. And then you're going to get like a slice of bread, right? They're going to hand over a slice of bread, and you're going to be like, and they're, what's wrong with the slice, right? The next you're going to get half a slice of bread, right? And then they're going to keep putting you down, and you're literally starving because they're not giving you any attention. They're not giving you any affection. They're not treating you well. And they used to treat you so well, so you stick around hoping that they'll treat you well again. And then they're going to throw you a breadcrumb after you've been sitting there starving for any type of connection and affection. And that breadcrumb will be a small, little, nice moment. Maybe one day they'll watch a movie with you. Or they'll come home with a bottle of wine, or they'll make you dinner one time. And you're going to give them you're going to get this breadcrumb. And the breadcrumbing is just to keep you in the relationship. The breadcrumbing is just to keep you stuck there so that you have nowhere else to go, because you're sitting there hoping that it's going to get better. You're sitting there hoping that you're going to get that slice of bread, and that hopefully it'll turn into that loaf of bread again. The breadcrumbing is their way of showing you that they're still here. They'll still, give you some attention, that it's not all bad. And they're just there to remind you that I'm still here, right? I want you to know something with those breadcrumbs, guys. It is a technique to keep you in this relationship. It's a technique. Sorry, I'm going to plug my phone in because it's going to die here. There we go. It's a technique to keep you coming back, to keep you locked in, right? I would beg him for 5 minutes of time just to be in the same room as him. It isn't worth it. It's not worth it, guys. It's not worth begging just to have a little bit of attention. So breadcrumbing could be one day you might get flowers. One day they might apologize for something that you've been holding on to, right? You might have, you might connect with sex. You might connect with being able to spend time with your friends, or they might connect with you in other ways, but it's just a tactic to keep you. Because whenever you get breadcrumbed back into the cycle of abuse, you have to ask yourself, how long is this going to last, right? How many times are you going to ask yourself, like, how many times is this going to happen? I'm fire, thanks. They use sex as a weapon. Absolutely. So I'm going to tell you something a little bit about the sex with a narcissist. Who's ready for this conversation? Who's ready for this one? Because this is a big one. This is a huge topic. This is a topic that a lot of people think about, talk about. Not a lot of people know how to articulate it or make sense of it, because a lot of the times we are so sexually connected to the narcissist in romantic relationship, okay? Specifically, I'm talking about romantic relationship because yes, there are narcissists that are in the dynamic that are our parents or that are our siblings or that are our friends. But specifically, I'm talking about romantic relationship. In the beginning of this relationship with a narcissist, you have sex as your only form of connection. How many of us had amazing sex in the beginning, right? Amazing. Was it the best? Did it feel really good? Did it feel like it was nothing like you've ever had with anybody else, right? Was it the only time that you felt seen? Was it the only time you felt connected, right? Did it feel like they knew everything about you and they could lock you in? So what that is oxytocin. It is a form of connection hormone that ties us in when we have feelings of intimacy and pleasure. Okay? Oxytocin is also produced in labor and childbirth. Oxytocin is produced when you are vibing with your close family or your child. Oxytocin is also produced when you are breastfeeding. Okay? Oxytocin is the love hormone that gets you pregnant and the one that helps you deliver your baby. So oxytocin is a really powerful hormone. And when the sex is really intense, you have these high levels of oxytocin. High levels of oxytocin. They cloud our judgment. They cloud our logic. And it's hard for us to see the truth. When you can be intimate with another human being without oxytocin, that is a true form of connection. Not just the sex. So if you could sit beside your partner across the couch in your jogs, you know, with like cereal bowls in front of you watching some movie, and you feel the same feel-good hormones that you get from oxytocin, that's real intimacy. That's real connection. If you only get that when you're having sex with the narcissist, they're using that to cloud your judgment. It feels like a fairy tale, right? Like a dream. It doesn't feel real. So I want you to really think about sex with the narcissist. Was it really that good? Right? Or was it the only time in your entire relationship that made you feel close and connected, where it made you feel like you were maybe a person in their life that they cared about? Because when you weren't having sex, how did you feel? Right? So when those oxytocin hormones are produced, and then you go back to your cortisol hormones, so when they start to abuse you, if they start to insult you or treat you badly or tell you you're not worth it or belittle you or make you feel like you weren't good enough, and they knock you off the pedestal that they built you up on, you get high levels of dope, or you get high levels of cortisol, right? Yes, and they can also withhold intimacy, withhold connection. I don't believe anyone can withhold sex because nobody is owned. Nobody's body is owned, right? So you can't really withhold sex in general, but you can withhold emotion. You can withhold connection, and sometimes the narcissist will do that as well. But if they start to devalue you afterwards, you're going to get these high levels of cortisol, and then we're going to crave and need a period of calm, which when they stop abusing you for a while or give you a break, maybe they'll give you the silent treatment and you actually don't get abused, right? That's the abuse. Stonewalling, exactly. If that happens, then you'll get this level, this kind of calming level, and then you'll be euphoric in the sense that they will start to breadcrumb you and start to hoover you and win you back by telling you they love you again, by giving you amazing sex again, by bringing you home flowers, by saying sorry and apologizing for some shit that they did, right? And if they do that, you're going to have dopamine. And that is the hormone that's responsible for reward. That's a very addictive hormone. This is something that we get whenever we check our notifications on our phone, okay? Every time we have a notification, dopamine, right? You walk into a casino. Every time you put that money in the slot machine, dopamine, ding, 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 right? So when the narcissist does those things and gives you breadcrumbs, they're going to give you dopamine. You're going to get that pleasure and you're going to get that reward. And that's going to be really addicting. And then back to the oxytocin, back to the cortisol, back to the dopamine, and then this vicious cycle starts. And guess what that's called, guys? It's called a trauma bond. We get stuck in a trauma bond. That's the science behind it. That's what happens in these narcissistic relationships. We get stuck in a trauma bond. And when we're bonded to our abuser, it becomes a lot harder to get out of this situation. We do not know how to leave because we are sitting around waiting for this cycle to be good again up here. The cycle keeps perpetuating and we can't get off this hamster wheel. So anybody who has left a narcissist, I'm very proud of you. It's not easy, right? It's a really hard thing to do. And even though we leave, we sometimes miss the narcissist, right? How many of us feel like we sometimes miss the narcissist? Hands up if you sometimes miss the narcissist. Right? It is really hard. It's exhausting. Get me out of this nightmare. Yeah. And thank you for those likes and those hearts. I appreciate you guys. Sometimes you miss them, sometimes you don't, right? But if you've ever missed them, don't feel bad. Don't give yourself a hard time because it's very common to miss the narcissist. It's very common. And you know you don't want to, right? But what you are actually missing is, it's got to be one of two things. Do you miss the abusive person? Right? Do you miss that person? That one that abused you, ignored you, gave you the silent treatment? Do you miss the person who lied to you, cheated on you, stole from you? Do you miss the person who made you feel like shit all the time? Do you miss that person? Do you miss that person? No, we don't miss that person. Of course not. We miss the person they pretended to be. We miss the person they pretended to be in order to abuse us. That's who we miss. So who did we miss? That person didn't exist. That person is a ghost. What we miss is a ghost. What we miss is a mask. Okay? This mask isn't real. They faked it to get with you. They faked it to abuse you. It was all a facade, exactly. So when you miss the narcissist, I want you to ask, do I miss the abuse? Or do I miss the fake person they pretended to be in order for them to get away with the abuse? The fantasy in our heads. The promises that were false. That's who we miss. And it is okay to miss that aspect of the relationship. I want you to be kind to yourself and give yourself permission to miss it. Because even though they didn't exist, you existed. You exist. A lot of that was you. A lot of that was your misconception of that person, but it was still a fantasy that you got to live, and you can still honor that it felt good. Because love bombing feels really good. So it is okay to feel like you missed that person or that relationship or those moments. You can say, I missed it. You are the one that experienced it. Okay? You're okay to honor that. I want you to give yourself permission to honor that. Anybody who wants to work with me, I want you to know I am a certified life coach. I do help with people that are suffering through narcissistic abuse, needing to get out of these relationships, needing to help themselves heal from it, getting to a place where they can move forward and trust themselves, maybe even date again after narcissistic abuse. I can help you. I am a certified life coach. Go to the link in my bio and you can book an appointment with me. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching, which I know some of you are going to be there at the group coaching event on September 25th. Can a narcissist cup be full? What does that mean? Can a narcissist cup be full? A narcissist is like a strainer. They're like a bucket with holes in it. Okay, a narcissist is like a bucket with holes in it. So if you pour into this bucket, and you have all these holes, all that water is going to come spilling out. All that water is going to come spilling out. And a lot of us survivors will keep pouring, and they'll pour as fast as they can. It's like pour. You think you can just pour as fast as you can. Pour. Keep pouring fast as you can. It's just going to buy you a little bit of time. Their buckets are never full. Their cups are never full. You'll never satisfy a narcissist. You will never satisfy a narcissist. And the second you think you did, they are going to move those goalposts. They're going to change the rules around, right? It's always going to be nothing will ever please them. Why do they just end it? Just to keep rekindling? Because they want you in that constant supply chain, that constant loop. If you are a main supply for a narcissist, they're going to have a side supply. And this, while they're love bombing you, they're discarding and devaluing someone else. The second they start devaluing and discarding you, they're onto another supply love bombing them. So they're always constantly manipulating and hurting someone in the mix. Those goalposts, right? Got to keep moving. Got to keep those goalposts moving. Can a narcissist make it loud and clear that they don't need nothing from you? They might, yeah, they might make that loud and clear. But here's a secret that narcissists don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that they actually need you a lot more than you need them. They need you more than you need them. They want you to feel as if they don't need you. They don't need anything from you. They don't need anything from you at all. But the truth is, they do need you. They need you for supply. They need you to feed their ego. They need you for that adrenaline rush, for that dopamine hit. They need you for supply. Right? What about when they are faithful? Well, I want you to ask yourself something. How do you know that they're faithful? How do you know this? Because they say it. There's no way to prove it, right? And a lot of narcissists will accuse you of cheating. If a narcissist has accused you of cheating, there's a very good chance that they've been cheating on you. Because a lot of the times these accusations are confessions. So I want you to really think about that. I do get a lot of people saying, well, you know, the narcissist was very faithful to me, never cheated on me. They never would. And to that I say, you know, for sure, but how do you know? Because what makes them a narcissist if they're not, right? They have a sense of entitlement. That is one of the 9 behavioral traits of narcissistic personality disorder. High sense of entitlement, right? So if they have this high sense of entitlement, they're entitled to you. They're entitled to your body. They don't have to follow the rules, even if they wrote the rules themselves. You know, they give you who gives you red flags? Always trust your intuition. Yes, they always cheat and they lie. That's a part of their identity. And if it's not infidelity, they're going to cheat at board games. They're going to cheat at, you know, that job interview. They're going to lie and say that whatever. They're going to cheat the system. They're going to cheat their way out of you know, a bad situation. They're going to put blames on someone else. That's the entitlement piece. Do narcissists threaten to leave you all the time, even though you're their supply? You're always going to be their supply. And yes, they do threaten to leave. They try to take the relationship off the table, but it's actually something that they don't want to. They're banking on you being their supply forever, even if they're with other people. But they need constant supply. They need it all the time. Yes, and a lot of them do have porn addictions. So a lot of narcissists are actually, I'm not saying all, but a lot of narcissists have alcohol addiction, addiction to drugs, sex. They have addictions to gambling. So they're in this like chasing because they're so fucking bored. They need all of this constant entertainment and chaos. So they'll be chasing to try to get something. They try to keep the same supply for life. Sometimes a lot of narcissists will actually have one main supply that they'll just keep abusing as much as possible, and a bunch of little side supplies all around. So you might be the one that they picked for life. You might just be in the supply closet for later. Even if they live far away. What are you asking, sweetheart? Why do I feel like the narcissist? Yeah, so you might feel like the narcissist because they projected all of their insecurities on you and now you feel like it. So the beginning of a relationship with a narcissist, they start to mirror you. I've talked about love bombing and how they'll tell you they love you on the first date. They'll say that you're their soulmate. They'll say all of these things, right? But in the beginning of that relationship, what they do is they mirror all your qualities because they are wanting to be you. They're lacking in so many different areas of their life, right? So they want to be you. When you find a narcissist or they find you, you're usually at the top of your game. You're usually in a really good place. A lot of the times with narcissistic abuse, they find people who are in this really good place, like where they feel as if they are, doing well. They're free from a different abusive relationship. They're coming up, they're successful. And then what'll happen is a narcissist will come around and mirror you and start pretending to be you. Oh, I like the same music as you. I like the same things as you. We read the same books. We have the same trauma. They will dig out some traumatic experience in your childhood, and they will mirror it as if it was theirs as well. They'll start saying to you that we're the same person. We're exactly alike. And they start mirroring you. And even if you're up here, over time, you will start to find this exchange happen where this shift is happening and they're mirroring you, but you are starting to be devalued and belittled and abused and used. And they're almost like sucking all this energy out of you slowly. It's surmountable over time. And by the end of that relationship, you start mirroring the narcissist, what they were like. As a defense mechanism, you'll start acting like them. You'll start feeling really low. You'll start losing your sense of identity. You'll start losing your confidence. And they start feeling like they're at the top of the game. And you might even actually feel like you're the narcissist at times because of reactive abuse. They might poke you and prod and get you to this place where you react and do something out of character. And now you look like the abusive one. And by the end of that relationship, you might feel like a shell of a person. They're up here and you're down here. And that is the energy exchange that happens in these narcissistic relationships. Your ex listened to Andrew Tate. Oh, that's red flag. Yes. They're like energy vampires, guys. So be very careful with that one. How do I stop missing him? Is dating okay? Is dating okay? Well, of course dating is okay. If you feel like dating is okay. Sometimes what you have to actually do is you have to tell yourself that it's not the narcissist that you miss. It's the misconception that you had with that narcissist. It's the fact that the narcissist love bombed you and made you feel amazing and all that sex was incredible. That's what you miss. You miss the connection that was fake. And if you did have amazing connections with that narcissist, tell yourself you are capable of doing that with somebody else. You're capable of having that again with somebody else. Hey, I listened to Andrew Tate, but for comic purposes. Okay, that's okay too. If they listen to Coldplay, red flag. Yeah, for reals. Actually, I love Coldplay, so they're definitely a narcissist. I love Coldplay, so I don't know about that one. I'm not sure about that one. Why do they get upset when people compliment you and try to tell you you're not great? Those people don't know the real you. Who gets upset? The narcissist? So the narcissist doesn't want any attention put on anybody else but themselves. So have you ever noticed on birthdays, they're so mad, they get real pissed on your birthday. They don't want you to enjoy your own birthday. Do you ever notice that? Right? I was laughing at the guy's comment. I love Coldplay. I do. I like Coldplay. So a narcissist will, anytime there's no attention paid to them, they are going to start abusing you. And so this can happen on Christmas. This can happen on any other holidays. This can happen on your birthday. This can even happen on their birthday because of the fact that people are having fun and enjoying life, right? If anybody is like enjoying something, if you're at a party and you're enjoying yourself and the narcissist sees you, they're going to make sure that they put an end to that because they're miserable people. They don't enjoy their own lives. They don't want you to enjoy anything either. My ex-narc ruined my birthday. He broke up and blocked me on my freaking birthday. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, they will actually discard you. They'll block you. They will demean you. They'll abuse you. They'll do all of these things when you're if you're having a birthday, if there's a traumatic event in your life, you know, if your health is at risk, if you're if you've lost anyone in your life, misery loves company. They need company. They need everyone to be miserable, just as miserable as them. Oh my God, you're so right. Every holiday, without a doubt. Very predictable. Yep. Very predictable. They are the worst around the Christmas holidays, guys. So just so you know, with Christmas coming up in a few months, I want you to be prepared for the chaos that narcissists will place on our Christmas holidays because they don't want us to have any fun. They don't want us to have any joy. They want us to focus all on them. So if that were to happen and the chaos starts to come up around Christmas, because it does happen, I want you to learn how to practice mindfulness and focus on yourself. Thank you so much for making you feel 10 times better. Oh, you're welcome. He said he was going to take pills and end it because I ruined him. Yeah. Tell him that you'll call the police. If they say they're going to take pills and they want to end it, say, okay, I don't want you to hurt yourself or harm yourself. I'm going to call the police. They should come to your house and do a check on you because that's not safe. You're not safe to yourself. Do that and see what happens. You can absolutely book an appointment with me if you're with a narcissist, if you're still with a narcissist, if you're not with the narcissist, if you're still getting over the narcissist. I do one-on-one coaching. I do group coaching as well. And I also offer a lot of other packages. So if you go to the link in my bio under book a coaching session, you can find a way to book with me. And this is something that I do to help people of all walks, of all areas, of all stages in the healing journey. There are people that I help that are still stuck in these relationships and don't know how to get out. And I can help you with that. How do I tell it's okay to be alone? Okay, so I have developed a healthy dating after abuse course, which you can find on the link in my bio under narcapp.com. So download the Narc app and you can find my course on there. And this helps you it's healthy dating after abuse. But one really imperative part of the course is how to trust yourself to be okay to be alone. How to know when you're ready to date again. How to know when you're ready to step out into the world and what tools that you need to get out there and be out in the world again. And trust, right? And have a lower level of hypervigilance because we do have some level of hypervigilance. And just so you know, hypervigilance is just being prepared for abuse to be around the horizon. Just thinking and being afraid and sometimes prepared to accept abuse. So it's like going into a party. You're walking into a party and immediately you can see who all the sketchy people are. You can see them everywhere. You're like, that one's sketchy, that one's sketchy. And on top of that, you're checking for the exits. You can see where the fire extinguisher is. You can see where there might be a fire exit. You see exactly how to get out of the situation if it's dangerous. This is what happens when we're in abusive situations. We are hypervigilant. We are always on guard and ready for abuse to take place, like it's going to be just around the horizon. So this is something that we have to work through. But once we start trusting ourselves and build our self-confidence and live and practice in self-love and self-care, we can get to this place where we're no longer hypervigilant, or it's lower and we can trust ourselves to be out in the world again. Mine should be behind bars. Mine was behind bars. A lot of them usually have gone to jail. How do you cope with the trauma and forget them? So you can forget them. You don't have to forgive them. Okay? The trauma bond is something that takes some time to work through. If you want to work with me, we can help by building some emotional boundaries. I can help you in a coaching session, just get you some tools to give you clarity, right? Helping you get rid of the narcissist can be something I can help as well. And practicing harm reduction while they're still either living in your home or still around or still with you, or you're still living with them. I know it's sometimes hard when you have kids with the narcissist, right? Why are they this way? Self-hate, mental illness, what makes them... Okay, this is a really good question. This is an amazing question. So what happens when a narcissist is created? I'm going to give you an example of how narcissists are born, okay? And if you're just popping in, I'm going to be on for another 20 minutes, but I'm here helping educate on what narcissistic abuse is. I'm an abuse educator and life coach. My name is Ro, and I'm also a narcissistic abuse survivor of 15 years. So I'm going to tell you exactly how a narcissist is born. When a child is born and as they're growing up, whoever their parental role models are in their life provides them with 3 things, okay? They provide them with the ability to label emotions, okay? They provide them with the space to feel their feelings, and they give them the tools and safety to regulate their emotions and self-soothe, okay? These are the 3 things that parents can provide for their children. As a child is growing up, if they're not given these 3 tools, so if that parent neglects them and tells them, no, you don't feel bad. What are you talking about? No, you're not sad. And they don't give them the tools to label those emotions. They don't let them feel their emotions, so they just give them a candy whenever they're crying. Don't cry, here's a candy. They don't let them feel their emotions or feel it, right? And then they don't give them the tools to self-soothe and regulate the emotion. So they stop it, and then the child suppresses that emotion. What happens is that child doesn't have those 3 things. They start to stop trusting the world, the outside world around them. They can't rely on their parents or any other role models to be able to give them emotional regulation, okay? The ability to feel their feelings, that space to feel their feelings, and some access to label what that feeling and that emotion is. They don't get that. So what they do is they stop trusting the outside world, and they go inward, and they become self-absorbed. When the narcissist becomes self-absorbed, they turn to other damaging things to cope with emotions they don't know how to label, identify, and cope through. So a lot of them will turn to drugs, alcohol as they get older, right? A lot of them will turn to gaslighting, right? They're going to start changing their own reality because it's safer for them. And as they get older, everyone else who learns how to label and feel and regulate their emotions, they become emotionally developed. We become emotionally intelligent. We become emotionally developed. A narcissist lacks in emotional development because they don't know how to label their emotions, feel their feelings, and cope and self-soothe. They don't know how to do that. So what do they do instead? They project it onto you. Ever walk in the door with a narcissist where you're completely having a normal day and all of a sudden they're like, what's with that look on your face? Why do you look so mad? Why are you so angry? Okay, trigger warning. Are you on your period or something? Did you stop taking your medication? Why are you so mad? Why do you look like that? It's because they're in a bad mood and they don't know how to identify that they're in a bad mood. So they put it on you. You're the one in a bad mood. They don't want to feel emotions. They don't know how to be vulnerable. Okay? They don't know how to self-reflect. So they'll place that on you. So a person who's a narcissist, who has narcissistic tendencies, is going to be emotionally underdeveloped. That's basically what a narcissist is. That's how a narcissist becomes a narcissist. So if you have kids and you don't want them to turn to this type of self-soothing coping mechanisms where they're self-absorbed, you want to label their emotions. You want to give them the space to feel their feelings. And you want to give them the tools and the safety to be able to self-soothe and regulate. Okay? A lot of narcissists in their adults, when they're adults, because you can't really diagnose a child or somebody who's still under 21 to really have narcissistic traits because they're still younger. But a lot of narcissists as adults are basically mentally, emotionally like children. So if you've ever had a narcissist yell at you and scream at you, what they're actually doing is having a tantrum. If you've ever had a narcissist insult you, they're just playing a game with you. They don't know how to communicate. They're emotionally they're emotionally immature. They're really immature people. Despite having these great jobs and they might look like they're doing well in life, they're actually really stunted as a child because they never knew how to regulate their emotion. So it's like they're having a tantrum. They don't care. Just like a toddler. Who here has kids? Who here has kids? Anyone with young kids right now? Hands up if you have young kids right now. What would happen if that young kid or that toddler came up to you and wants a snack? Okay, let's say they're 5. Mommy, I want a snack. Do they care that you're busy cooking dinner right now? Do they care that you're sick on the couch? No, they just want their snack. I want a snack. Can I have a snack? Can I have a snack? Do they care that you're in the shower? I'm in the shower right now. I'll give you a snack after. I want a snack. I want it now. They don't give a shit if you're cooking dinner. They don't give a shit if you're sick on the couch. They don't give a shit if you're in the shower. They want their snack and they want it right now. And if they get to this point where they're so hungry, they need that snack and you don't give it to them, no matter what kind of space you're in, they are going to lash out on you and have a tantrum because they don't really care what your emotional state is or what state you're in at all. They just want what they want and they will have a tantrum. Now turn this little toddler into a 40-year-old person, a 40-year-old adult. Whatever they need, whatever they want. They don't care about what you're in right now. They don't have that ability to give you empathy and put themselves in your shoes and understand your experience for that moment. They will have a tantrum. And what does a tantrum look like from an actual adult, right? It's a little different. But when you really look at it, that's just a toddler having a tantrum because they're not getting what they want. So when you really think about that, the next time a narcissist picks a fight with you, next time a narcissist has an argument with you, and next time a narcissist, doesn't get their way, I want you to really think that you're dealing with a toddler. Confusion is a red flag. Yeah, you know what? So this is really good. That's such a great comment. And I'll tell you why it's so great. Confusion is a red flag. We think about red flags in people, right? We think about red flags in potential con artists, potential abusers, right? We think about red flags in people who might be a narcissist or toxic. But what about the red flags that we experience ourselves? Are we always confused all the time? That's a red flag. Do we feel uncomfortable? Like we have to filter our own words, like we have to check Am I going to be, do I sound stupid if I say this right now? Do you ask yourself that? Maybe I shouldn't say this. Are we scared to share our own happy thoughts, our own sad thoughts? Are we scared to share good news, bad news, because we don't know how the narcissist will react to it? That is a red flag. And it's important to identify what the red flags are in ourselves. Do we get really anxious around the narcissist sometimes when they're home, and when they're not home, wondering when they're going to get home? Do we feel like we're stupid? Yeah. Do we feel like we're the ones who are unintelligent? Are we feeling really anxious all the time just by thinking about a conversation we might have? Yes. Are you always editing yourself? Are you always questioning your reality? Do you feel like you need to sacrifice parts of your life for that person? Right? Do you always feel, are you feeling jealous all of a sudden because they said something? Oh, my ex-girlfriend had really nice tits, really nice ones. Does that make you jealous, right? What kind of a partner says that to you? So I want you to question how you feel if you are out of your own comfort, if you are out of your element, and if you don't feel safe. That is a red flag. And yes, confusion is one of those things. Do you spend a lot of time in your room? Exactly. Do you spend a lot of time isolated away from your friends and family? Are you being a different person in front of your friends and family? Are you compensating for the narcissist? Are you vouching for them, right? Do you feel like you're telling a lie to yourself sometimes when you describe them and you describe your relationship, right? Do you feel like you're safest when you're just completely isolated from the world? That is a red flag. Does it take you a couple minutes to get into the house when you get home? So for me, I used to sit in the car for like 5-10 minutes, and I would sit there and breathe, almost like I really needed to get into the headspace to come home. And sometimes I would actually call people. I'd just be like, hey, are you busy right now? Like, are you out for can you want to go for coffee? You know, I would try to like stay out as long as possible. I would try to stay out as long as possible. Hopefully he would be in bed. Right? I used to work as a doula, and I would go and help people give birth. And as a certified doula, I would do this, and I would be out at all hours of the night in the hospital, helping people, helping families deliver their babies. And after a 30, 40-hour shift sometimes, I would be like, I think I'm just going to stay. I think I'm just going to stay in my house or stay in my car and not go into the house. Like a healthy relationship would be like, I think like, you would just go straight home. I have other doula friends that would tell me how their husbands used to give them a glass of wine and like eggs and stuff like that right as soon as they got home. No, I didn't even want to go home. Can a narcissist live alone? I don't know. That maybe, yes. Narcissists don't really like to be alone. Damn, this total roller coaster, out of control, everything. Yeah, especially when they get home, being anxious. Yeah, waiting for them to get home. Yeah, that's called walking on eggshells, guys. So if you've ever felt like you've walked on eggshells, how many of us have felt like you couldn't be comfortable in your own house? Like you're walking on eggshells? Do you think someone having been in prison for many years from a young age could cause them to be a narcissist, maybe developmental damage? So Supreme, one of the things that I mentioned earlier with narcissists is that it comes from being emotionally stunted at a younger age. So, I mean, there's a lot of books. There's a lot of books on the subject. I would recommend a couple different ones for healing, but one of the ones that really helped me learn about narcissistic abuse, and I apologize, it's not mirrored, but Why Does He Do That by Lundy Bancroft. Why Does He Do That by Lundy Bancroft is going to give you a really good idea inside the mind of angry and controlling men. I know it's men. So this is from the perception of a man to a man, but the child's perception and how they are born. So it's really difficult there hasn't been a lot of research on people having these healthy dynamics and not being absent of developmental, emotional development, and then all of a sudden losing it because they went to jail or because of traumatic events. So it's a really hard thing for me to say. I don't know. This is a brilliant book and you're reading it. Another one that's really amazing, which I think everyone should read, especially if you're already reading Lundy Bancroft, is Jackson Mackenzie, Psychopath Free. Psychopath Free is also an amazing book to really get you started, get your feet wet in narcissistic abuse. So recovering from emotionally abusive relationships with narcissists, sociopaths, and other toxic people. So this is a really good spectrum of different types of toxic people. These two books you can find on the link in my bio. So if you go to the link in my bio under books recommended by Coach Rowe, you can find all of these two and some other books that I would recommend getting. Love book recommendations. Yes. Another one that I'm reading right now, and if you do want to meet this author, Dr. Sandra L. Brown wrote this book here, Women Who Love Psychopaths. Women Who Love Psychopaths. And this is a great book. It is not on the link in my bio, but if you go to the link in my bio, you will see a link there that is a invitation to an event on November 10th. And it is called How Could I Have Fallen for a Dangerous Man? It's a webinar where we're going to be interviewing Sandra L. Brown and talking about her books, talking about where her studies are. She's been studying pathological love relationships and some of the research that has been brought up on. She studied over 100 pathological relationships and how we fall for dangerous men and what her definition of a dangerous person is. So if you want to see that interview, that webinar, I'm going to be involved in that as well. So I'm going to be asking questions to Sandra Brown about her experience in writing this book, and also I think it's called Dangerous Men. But if you go to the link in my bio, you can actually get that ticket and secure your spot for that webinar. That's going to be an amazing webinar. Mine always talked about his many friends, but I never met them. He yells at his mom all the time. His dad and brother advised me to leave. Yeah, and so have you left? So I'm proud of you if you left. Leaving is not easy. Leaving is not easy to do. I would love to get help with dating again, identifying red flags and healthy. I can help you if you want to work with me one-on-one. I'm a certified life coach. I can help you get to this place of trusting yourself again, gaining some emotional boundaries, learning what the red flags are. You can also go to the link in my bio and do the course, Healthy Dating After Abuse, that I wrote. How long have I been narc-free? Supreme Me. I've been narc-free for 3 years and no contact for nearly 9 months. It'll be 9 months I've been no contact. So I believe that no contact is our first act of self-love. It is really important to stay no contact when it comes to a narcissist, because they will use any type of way to get to you by being in your space, by bugging you, right? Am I happy? I'm absolutely happy. So much happier. I'll tell you something. Your worst day on the side of freedom will still be far better than the best day you ever had with that narcissist. I promise you. I promise you. Okay? This time last year, what day is it today? September 11th. Okay. This time last year, I was in the hospital and I was dying of COVID pneumonia. I had COVID. I was positive. I tested positive on September 2nd. And then my oxygen was so low, I got sent to the ICU and they put a ventilator down my throat. I still have, I don't know if you can see it, but I still have bruises from where they fed me through a tube. And I almost died. And that was probably the scariest time in my entire life. Scariest time in my entire life. I was in the hospital for 18 days, and I was recovering for 2 months after that. That dark, desolate place that I was in, where I was literally praying every single day to live. I was actually even saying that I have no will left to live, and I was having to think about my kids to just give myself strength because I was terrified. I had tubes all up in everywhere and all sorts of stuff sticking out of me, and it was painful. Okay? Those dark, dark days, the darkest day, I still remember this one day that I didn't sleep for like 48 hours, and I just wanted to sleep so bad. That day was still far better than the best day I ever had with the narcissist that I married. Okay? I was in the hospital for COVID pneumonia, yes. So I want you to know something. Your very worst day on the side of freedom will still be far better than the best day you ever had with that narcissist. I promise you. Okay? I promise you. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Glad you're all right. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, what doesn't kill you makes us stronger, right? But we never have to give credit to the narcissist for making us stronger. We never have to credit them. The government got me good. Oh, yeah? So I want you to know something. If you have kids with a narcissist, someone's asking, going no contact is possible. I can help you with this. I can 100% help you with this if you do need support in how to go no contact with a narcissist. I have 3 kids with a narcissist that I married. Young kids, and we have them every other week, and I parallel parent, and I don't even contact. I've blocked him. He cannot reach me through email. He cannot reach me through my phone. Every Monday we drop the kids off, and either he drops them off or I drop them off. I don't see him. I don't talk to him. He lives in a basement suite, and the kids just go downstairs, and sometimes I hear his voice say hi, but that's it. And if they're mean to your kids, I don't know if he is. Right? All I know is he feeds them and takes care of them. But we have to pick our battles. He was awarded 50-50. So unless I can prove any type of abuse, then there's, that's our parenting agreement. Very thing to self-soothe and abuse you with. Sorry, typo. I missed that. So I'm going to end this, guys. I do appreciate you being here. I do appreciate these lives, and I appreciate you all supporting me, right? If you want to work with me one-on-one, do you cringe if your kids bring him up? No, I don't cringe if they bring him up. I just go, oh, okay, yeah, that's awesome. Hope you have fun. Right? Well, as my kids get older, they're going to see it. They're going to be able to see it for themselves. I have a lot of clients that have older kids that see it. By the time they get older, they do see it. Love you, Ro. Love you. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you want to work with me, I do offer one-on-one coaching. You can go to the link in my bio and book a session with me to get started. If you've already worked with me before, you can go under Returning Clients tab and you can book another session with me or book a package. I also offer text packaging, so if you want to do something a little bit more digital because you don't have access to really sit and have a Zoom call with me, and just so you know, if you want to know what a coaching session looks like with me, basically you get a Zoom link, you sit with me one-on-one for 30 or 60 minutes, and I will ask you a series of questions to get you comfortable with me, and I will also do like an analysis of what's happening in your life. I'm going to ask you a specific set of questions. I'm going to find out exactly how you're feeling in the moment. Then I'm going to assess your situation with my professional opinion and give you clarity. I'm going to tell you exactly what I see from a place of love, from a place of no judgment, from a place of I've been here before. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I see, and I'm going to put those glasses on you so that you see it too. And once we get clarity, I'm going to give you the tools and the steps to move forward in your healing. I'm not ever going to hold that wheel, okay? But I will hold your hand through it. And yes, I do coaching sessions even if you, of course, even if you've left them, even if you haven't left them, wherever you are in your space of healing, I will help you through it. So I've coached a lot of people who've left the narcissist because you do deal with a lot of that trauma bond and a lot of that pain that happens afterwards, all right? Thank you for the live tonight. And yes, I'm going to go to bed as well. So guys, before I go here tonight, I want everybody to put in the chat, right? I want you to put in the chat the date that you left the narcissist. I want you to put your freedom date in the chat, or the date that you went no contact, and the date that you decided you wanted to leave. Whatever the date is for you, put your freedom date in the chat. Mine is November 15th, 2019. November 15th, 2019. Freedom dates in the chat, guys. Put your freedom dates in the chat. I want to know when you left. That's awesome. 2022. Even if you just want to put the year. We got July 5th, last Thursday. Amazing. Proud of you guys. So proud of you guys. October 21st, 2021. Yes. And if you don't have a freedom date yet, yes, freedom dates. July 5th. We got February 8th. June 12th, July 18th, May 12th. This is amazing, guys. June 22nd, 1493. July 18th. You guys are amazing. So I'm so proud of you all. Freedom snaps for anybody. Yes, you can absolutely, Sonia, get in touch with me. Go to the link in my bio. And if you don't have a freedom date, I want you to know something. What you're going through is temporary. I promise you, if you are still stuck, okay, if you're still stuck, look at these dates right now. This is your inspiration. This is your motivation. This is your sign that you will get out of this. And one day you will have a freedom date. You will come into my chat and you will put it in this chat, and we will be snapping and celebrating your freedom for you. Thank you all for being here. Again, my name is Ro. And if you want to work with me, you can book a session, link in my bio. And I enjoyed my time with you, and I will see you again. Thanks, guys.